for them. So we worked for the Nazis. My husband for the men's, and I for the women's. For a while. One time, on a Sunday morning, 2 men from Gestapo came to the Jewish Gemeinde and asked for Mr. Frankel. They need him to.
What does Gemeinde mean? Gemeinde is the Jewish government in the camp.
The Jewish Gemeinde.
That's it. This was the government that was made up by the Nazis for the Jews.
Right.
What is Gemeinde? Explain
Gemeinde
it.
is the Nazis.
No.
The Jewish organization. They came, it's called the Gemeinde. They need Mr. Frankel to sew something in Gestapo's house. So Mr. Frankel went down and took a needle and thread to go into the Gestapo to sew. In the morning, without breakfast, he saw my little girl and says, "Tell mommy I'm going and I'll be back in an hour." Took time, 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. I didn't see my husband. So that time, my husband was arrested. When he came to the Gestapo, Mr. Putzala says to my husband, "Mr. Frankel, take out everything from your pocket." He says to him, "Mr. Putzala, I'm your tailor." He says, "No, you're not my tailor now. You are arrested." He took out everything from the pockets. What's me? When we went out of the ghetto, we helped people to bring, some men, they had wives, children without the ghetto. So we
outside of the ghetto.
Outside of the ghetto. So we helped him. Communication. So in this people so he says, "What are you doing out at the ghetto?" My husband says, "Nothing. I have nothing to do with the Polish people. I have nothing to do with the Polish people." Was a list to the Gestapo that Mr. Frankel has to do something with the Polish people.
He was spying. They accused him of spying.
He is spying
against the Nazis.
Against the Nazis. So, one day, we helped a lot. That's the truth. Because we helped people. And my husband was arrested. So everybody said that time that he got killed. But many people that time was killed in the cemetery. So my husband was liberated. We came back to the ghetto. But we helped a lot people. We worked still for a while. Then one time, Piet geheißen, die Menschen von Wald.
Partisaner?
Partisaner. the organized partisanen, and they came to our shop at night, opened the window and took out all the suits.
All the uniforms, because they were going to use them for themselves,
all
right?
the uniforms.
They stole the uniforms so they can use it for themselves. Because they were fighting the Germans.
Yeah, they used themselves, the uniforms from the soldiers. And they blamed my husband.
The Germans blamed your husband, yes. They accused him of working with the partisans, right? They accused him.
Yeah. One time.
So what happened after that?
He came back, my husband came back, he used to, and we still was working with him.
No. He was arrested because of this? He was arrested because he was accused of spying after the uniforms were stolen?
Before
Okay.
too. Because we helped people.
They suspected him. They suspected your husband of spying, but they couldn't prove it.
No, they cannot.
Okay.
Okay. He was liberated, he came home, because when he was arrested in the cellar, that means in the basement, with whole of water, for 2 days and 2 nights. The place where my husband took on a phone to Warsaw to help people. So they know this. So that people from the store was also arrested. And one to the other talk. What do you want from Mr. Frankel? He didn't talk on the phone. He has nothing to do. In one of the Gestapo at night heard this. He went to Mr. Pazzalo. He says, you know what? That's Mr. Frankel. It's not true. Mr. Frankel didn't talk to Warsaw. Yeah, Mr. Frankel didn't talk to Warsaw. It's not true. That man understood Polish because he was Deutsch, born in Poland. He understood Polish. So, Mr. Frankel was liberated. He came back, thank God, everywhere for a time. Then we have to again go and leave the small ghetto. We're going without the ghetto. That's mean to the suburbs. We were.
What happened to the ghetto?
We left the ghetto.
Was it closed?
To close up.
And where did you go?
To clean up, we went.
Outside of the small ghetto?
We went. They clean up Piotrków, the city. They clean up the city. And
what do you mean they cleaned up the city? They got rid of all the Jews?
No Jews anymore.
No Jews in Piotrków. So where did they go, the Jews?
He split us in 2 places. One was Huta, and the other one
was Kara.
The Kara.
Huta and Kara.
Bugaj and Kara.
Bugaj and Kara.
Split us in 2.
Where were you?
We went.
Where?
To the Bugaj.
Where? Bugaj.
We went to the
Bugaj.
Can I have it? So he split us in 2 places, ghetto and Kara.
Bugaj and Kara.
Bugaj and Kara. I'm sorry. I forgot.
It's okay.
So, we working people, the important...
What was the difference between the two ghettos? What was the difference?
What do you mean?
What was the difference?
Between Jew...
No, between Bugaj and Kara, what was the difference?
No, they split us. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but what was Kara and what was Bugaj?
The Kara was working something else, glass work.
So people who went to Kara worked in a glass factory.
My sister-in-law.
Yeah. Anja and her mother
They were-
and Salek, they all went to Bugaj.
The book
Salek wasn't there yet. Where was Salek?
with Anja.
Okay.
So my sister-in-law held her sister's son. He went to the Kara. She went to the Kara.
You went to Bugaj
I went to Bugaj. So
with Dad and your daughter.
for a while we worked. For important people, they gave us one nice room, apartment for the people who worked for them, the important people, because we worked for them. And the other people was 100 people together. We were 3 families because we were the important people. So we were over there for a while. One day I went to try on Mrs. Mushala. This was a working man in post office. He wasn't a Nazi, and his wife was very good to me. So I try on, when I come in, she was crying. I asked her, Mrs. Mushala, warum weinen Sie? Why do you cry? She says, we have Leningrad verloren.
We lost Leningrad.
We lost Leningrad.
Meaning that the Germans were starting to lose the war.
That was the war. And we didn't know anything because we was not allowed to have radio. If we didn't know what's happening in the world. So we were So Mrs. Mushala, she gave me butter, bread, and we have ate. It was enough. So, like you know, we worked very hard. For us, was 2 executives, 2 Gestapo. So we work for the Nazis, 2 executives. Two men was the bosses in the place. They were impossible. To kill them. They were impossible.
They were mean. They were mean. They were very bad people.
Very bad to people. In this place, they sent out people to kill them, many people. So one day, we have to get ready to go to Germany because the Russian, they came closer to Poland. They want to clean up the place. So came a day, the 2 important people, the Gestapo, says, people get ready, you have to go out. we went out.
You have to leave the ghetto.
We have to leave.
Everybody had to leave the ghetto.
Everybody has to leave the place.
Both ghettos, the Kara and the Bugaj?
Kara and Bugaj. First of all, take your gold, your ring, your watches, all of gold. They collect everything. We put this and gave us to them. So we stay in line. We were standing in line. We went to the train, got ready to go to Germany.
You were transported. Everybody was transported to Germany.
Everybody
the men and the women.
Yeah. And when the train, they cut in half. Men separate from the women. They sent the women to Ravensbrück, this was a concentration camp, and the men to Auschwitz. Over there, I mean, well, we went to the train. Men to Buchenwald, women to Ravensbrück. That was concentration camp in Germany. I met my sister-in-law and Salek, my nephew, my mother-in-law at the train. So we came to Ravensbrück. We saw people dying. So they concentrate us in one street to go and took a bed. But we didn't change us the clothes. We should take off everything, and they changed the clothes, and we didn't see people out. We thought that we're going in oven, because we didn't see people out.
You didn't see people outside on the street?
No.
There was nobody out in the street?
They didn't come out. But they went in and they went out in another way, in a different way. They shave us hair. We look everybody like crazy. So we came out, they changed us the clothes, and they separate mothers with children in another place, in a block. Mothers and children. That was Ravensbrück. The children become every day a little soup, a potato, something to eat. So we were there a long time.
How long?
I can remember few weeks or few months.
I think it was 7 months.
Altogether was 7 months. We was there.
You mean you were in a different? You were in a barrack in one. Then you switched to another one.
Yeah, I was in a barrack with mothers and children. Yeah. They were separated.
From whom? Separated from whom?
For a few weeks. For a few weeks. And I went to work again, but not sewing.
When you went to work, what happened to the children?
They were in the barrack. The children were in the barrack.
How many people slept in one bed?
We had one bed, 2 mothers and 2 children in one bed.
Okay, so you went to work every day?
I didn't want to go to work. I escaped, and I don't want to go to work because it was too hard for me. We have to carry vegetables was too heavy for me. But anyhow, I should go because I have nothing to eat, very little. It was very hard. What can I tell you? It was a hard life. One time, 3 o'clock in the morning, we have to stand up to appel. My little girl got sick. She has fever and nothing to wear. And we went out with the appel at 3 o'clock in the morning. Next day I didn't know, what can I do with my child? Shall I give him to the hospital or to go out to the appel? That was a hard decision what to do. So God, what shall I do? Give me a good mind. What shall I do? Shall I give this child in the hospital? I don't know what's going to happen to her. So I says to myself, what's going to be, it's going to be.